Well, hello everyone. After the sheer loss of faith in humanity that my last PSA countdown caused me, I was thinking we should do something a little more lighthearted, or at least something less upsetting and triggering than the last countdown, which the comments are now disabled on. And then I realized, hey, I should make my top 10 worst PSA countdown into a top 20. There are absolutely more than 10 PSAs that I detest and are just objectively awful. Prepare to see some of the most distasteful, backwards, and just god-awful PSAs the world has ever seen.
Hey, Peter, have you ever heard of Daria?
I included this PSA on my top 10 scariest AIDS PSA countdown, and while it hit number 2 in scariness, this PSA is one of the most distasteful things I have ever seen in my life. We spend the majority of the runtime watching Hitler fucking, and I'm surprised this porno PSA ever even got the chance to fucking air, considering I have to censor almost the entire PSA to show it on YouTube. The only things saving this PSA from being higher on the list is one, I already talked about it, and two, I agree with its message. AIDS and Hitler both have pretty high kill rates, but good God, this is one of the most distasteful things to ever come out of Germany. Keyword is one of the most distasteful things to ever come out of Germany.
I'm Michael Jordan. McDonald's restaurants have given me this time to talk to you about something we both really care about: kids. Kids are the reason McDonald's sponsors their Get It Straight program, a national drug awareness effort. McDonald's is so concerned about this problem, you won't be seeing their usual commercials during this show because McDonald's believes it deserves your undivided attention. Now I'd like to speak just to the kids for a moment. Unfortunately, when people like myself, your teachers or your parents, try to talk to you about drugs, you think we're preaching at you, and sometimes it turns you off. Though I never used drugs, when people try to tell me things for my own good, it turned me off too. But I found out something. Even though they haven't experienced what you're experiencing now, a lot of that preaching was worth it. Because when it comes to drugs, experience is not the best teacher, but growing up is a very good teacher. That's what this program is all about. Living long enough to grow up. Think about this. Many of you using drugs out there now are under 18. Do you realize that at 18 you have lived only 1/4 of your life? When you're using drugs, you're only cheating yourself out of the chance to find out who you really can be. And believe me, if you don't use drugs, you can just about be anything you want to be. When I was 18, my future was just a dream. But if I'd been on drugs, that dream would have never come true. Listen, you got at least 3/4 of your life to go. That's 3 more lifetimes to you. So don't blow it. Don't do drugs. If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help. McDonald's wants you to give yourself a chance to find out all the wonderful things you really can be. And so do I.
love this PSA, but it is objectively bad, let's not even deny it. It wouldn't be memorable if not for the classic Stop It, Get Some Help line. It's one of my favorite McDonald's PSAs, and let's be honest, one of the only McDonald's PSAs. But McDonald's has destroyed more lives than drugs ever have with their obesity fuel. So the irony isn't lost on me there. It just seems like McDonald's would rather kids spend their parents' money on their food than drugs, which is understandable, but let's be honest, this clip sums up McDonald's stance on the issue.
I don't care about the children. I just care about their parents' money.
This is crack, rock cocaine. It isn't glamorous or cool or kid stuff. It's the most addictive kind of cocaine, and it can kill you. What's really bad is nobody knows how much it takes. So every time you use it, you risk dying. It isn't worth it. Look, everybody wants to be cool, but doing it with crack isn't just wrong. It could be dead wrong.
Now, obligatory rest in peace, Paul Rubens, who recently passed away, but this PSA is definitely not his best work. Now, of all people, they chose motherfucking Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee's Playhouse honestly has the vibe of an LSD trip with how wacky it can be. And the story of how Paul Rubens starred in this PSA is even funnier than the PSA itself. Basically, he thought it would be a good idea to whip out his wiener in a porno theater and jack off, causing him to be sentenced to 75 hours of community service, which this PSA was the product of. So, as my fellow PSA reviewer Zach R. said, honestly, this makes me glad that he jacked off in the theater, so we got this comedy masterpiece. Two words: penis rocket. The combination of the penis rocket and black hole vagina, as well as this weird ass music, is what makes this PSA so strange. Also, there's a reason I put a strobe warning before this PSA. Those flashing lights at the end are bound to cause seizures. This PSA is just not it, Chief, and I really don't think it needed to be made. Although there are some people that are gonna disagree because it got me to say penis rocket. A penis rocket? Really? This PSA makes no sense, not gonna lie. Especially not for its lesson. Like, why are we using a black hole as a metaphor for a vagina? Has the black hole never had it raw? Damn.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Jess. I noticed that you're kind of cute. I hope this doesn't sound lame, but sometimes you just want to have some fun. Do you know what I mean? And I'd really like to have some fun with you. I could take my top off. You like that, don't you? You could take your top off. Maybe your jeans too. I'd like to watch you doing stuff while I do stuff. Except, maybe you shouldn't. Because you know what? You're being recorded. Understand?
Gorgeous, isn't she? Yeah, she works for me.
You're being blackmailed.
Your contacts have been downloaded. The film will be shared with your friends, your family, your workmates,
Everyone you know.
Unless you pay. And if you think you can talk me out of it, think again. Because for those of us pressing the buttons behind the scenes, it's just business.
Not gonna lie, this PSA is way too overacted and clearly made by people who don't understand the internet. Nobody does this shit to you unless you're a celebrity or a really rich person. And this PSA is really cringeworthy. She likes to watch me doing stuff. Okay, watch me draw. Watch me review PSAs. Watch me play Pokemon or Danganronpa. We don't have to get naked, you can just watch me play video games or such.
The pirates are out to get you. Don't let them brand you with their mark. Piracy funds organised crime and will destroy our film and video industry. Piracy costs jobs and will destroy our music and publishing industry. Piracy funds terrorism and will destroy our development and your future enjoyment. Don't touch the hot stuff. Cool is copyright. Copyright is a matter of fact.
If you have any knowledge of the manufacture or sale of counterfeit film and video product or related software, please call our UK hotline on 020-8568 6646 or in the Republic of Ireland 01-882 8565. Your support can end the distribution of poor quality product.
Don't let the pirates burn a hole in your pocket.
PSA is only memorable because it's on every fucking DVD from the early 2000s. I admit, the devil in it is genuinely creepy, but the points are so extreme and laughable. Piracy funds organized crime and will destroy our music and publishing industry. Some record label contracts are so bad that musicians encourage people to pirate their music. And this entire channel of mine is built on pirated content. Well, not really, since most PSAs aren't at risk of being copyright struck, but use copyrighted music, but you get the idea. You absolutely get the idea. This PSA is just so over the top and scaremongering. To bring back a Linkin Park joke from the first edition of this countdown, it tried so hard, and at least until we were 12, got so far for a subject that in the end didn't even matter.
You look at me when I'm talking to you! Look at me! Is this what you want? You useless woman! Look at what you made me do! Look at me! Shut your mouth! What did she got? Oh, no! No! Yeah! Cry! Cry!
quite possibly one of the most distasteful PETA PSAs, comparing eating fish to domestic violence, bullying, and robberies. The message doesn't even make sense either. How could a fish scream out of water? That fish would be long dead before it even got into the kitchen, not gonna lie. I'm definitely gonna be putting a lot of PETA PSAs on this countdown. This PSA is just the tip of the iceberg on bad PETA PSAs.
Sure. Dear God, thank you for the turkey we're about to eat, and for the turkey farms where they pack them into dark, tiny little sheds for their whole lives. Thank you for when they burn their feathers off while they're still alive, and for when turkey gets kicked around like a football and killed by people who think it's fun to stomp on their little turkey heads. And special thanks for all the chemicals and dirt and poop that's in the turkey we're about to eat. Oh, and thank you for rainbows. Amen. Let's eat.
Now, I don't agree with factory farming. Hell, I refuse to eat any sheep meat, such as lamb or mutton, due to the fact that I feel such a strong connection with sheep, but this is definitely one way to ruin Thanksgiving dinner. This PSA makes me unreasonably mad, probably because it gives off the energy of that one Republican uncle who won't stop spouting conspiracy theories and singing the praises of Trump, or that one blue-haired cousin who won't shut the fuck up about how woke and or oppressed she is. This little actress is playing a character who is the embodiment of everything I hate about stereotypical vegans. Virtuous as all hell, acts holier than thou, constantly berates anyone who isn't a vegan, and goes out of their way to preach it all the fucking time. I sincerely hope this little girl didn't get bullied for being in this PSA, but here's another reason I hate this PSA. It pushes their bullshit narrative on a fucking child.
That's a great point, Cindy. And that's why it's important for us to continue to dock the tails, crop the ears, and create that clean look. It's so important. I'm sorry, sir. I think you have the wrong meeting.
Oh, is this the American Kennel Club?
Yes, but, we're discussing...
And you believe in the sanctity of pure bloodlines, right?
Yes.
And breeding to achieve a master race?
Well, master pedigree. They're...
Race, pedigree, I mean, that's just all semantics. I think I'm gonna fit right in here. You're my kind of people. Here, they're gonna be, snacks later.
It wouldn't be one of your PSAs if it wasn't incredibly distasteful, now would it? This one was in my top 10 controversial PSAs countdown, and it honestly plays out like a fucking Dave Chappelle sketch, with a Klansman believing the AKC to be pushing an Aryan race of dogs, which is not a sentence I expected to say on this channel. What can I say? This is the out of context season for a reason. Leave it to fucking PETA to compare white human supremacy with dog breed snobbery and coin a stupid term like speciesism or breedism, which I'm pretty sure Zetas on Twitter have used to justify zoophilia. I promise this is the last PETA PSA on this list.
Wave to Daddy. Don't go too far.
Greenpeace making a bad PSA? No way. Yup, it's true. This PSA was so bad even Greenpeace themselves disowned it. Here's everything wrong with this PSA. I assume it was made post 9/11, so most nuclear substations are fortified to be impenetrable by planes crashing into them, even in the event of a terrorist attack. And that plane was obviously chroma keyed in. Not to mention, most nuclear substations are no-fly zones. This is one of the worst PSAs I've ever seen, and even the PIF Wiki has an extensive scathing review of it that would make Encyclopedia Dramatica blush. The acting and CGI are terrible, and it makes sense considering it was made by a sensationalist environmentalist.
One day, Alex and Sam were mucking around on their phones.
Why don't we take a selfie? Yeah.
Then Sam had an idea.
I'll take a picture.
What if they sent a picture of Alex's willy to their friend Katie? You know, the kind that disappears in a few seconds.
Send.
When Katie saw it, she thought it was very funny. So she screen grabbed the picture and sent it to her friends. And they sent it to theirs. And the next day at school,
Newsflash! The world sees Alex's willy.
Alex even got a message from a bully. He then got one from a man he didn't know. Sometimes children share things they shouldn't online. And the effects can be devastating. Help keep your child safe. Search Share Aware.
Normally the NSPCC creates S-tier PSAs, but this one is just terrible. I legitimately cannot take this PSA seriously. What fucking 10-year-old, which I assume Alex here is sending dick pics to their friends? And who is loudly announcing that they saw a child's penis in public? Is this town full of fucking nonsense? And your willy is rubbish. Bro, what kind of insult is that? And why would this CP make it to the entire world? It makes no sense. The only legitimately creepy part of this PSA is the actual nonce offering to send Alex a picture of his dick. The other one is much better. This one is just fucking dumb. There's a reason this internet memed this to hell and back. Child pornography laws would make sure anyone who saved this image was put in prison. Like, of course, teach kids to be safe online, but don't do it in this idiotic way. Also, the pixelation implies the artists of this PSA drew a child's dick and had to censor it. Kind of a creepy detail.
A moment of cinematic joy. An experience shared. All gone. Imagine. Love cinema. Hate piracy.
This is one of the most laughable fact PSAs out there, and it aged horribly. It wasn't piracy that killed off a lot of cinema. It was streaming services and the COVID-19 pandemic. This PSA is just laughably bad, and it tries to be creepy, but it's so over the top like most anti-piracy PSAs that I cannot take it seriously. Not even its narration could fucking save it. most anti-smoking PSAs, but encouraging suicide? Seriously? Nobody realized just how wrong this was? Encouraging suicide as long as it's not by smoking? Motherfucker, what? I'd never seen this PSA before Love the PIF showed it on his channel, but I agree with Gold Starman 2097 on how terrible this PSA is in both message and execution. And normally Singapore makes some great PSAs, but this is just wrong on so many levels. It's horrifying, but it's wrong for all the wrong fucking reasons.
I'm Captain Lou Albano talking to you about drugs. Kids, don't be afraid to say no. Anyone that asks you to use drugs is not your friend. Drugs can and will kill. Remember, don't be afraid to turn to your priest, your rabbi, your minister, your moms, your dads, your teachers, because drugs can kill. And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Please.
Oh, this one's a classic. The classic Super Mario PSA where he says hell. Now, I know what he meant. If you do drugs, you are thrust into a living hell, hence, you go to hell before you die, but it's worded very vaguely. It oddly fits with the cheerful music, but everything about this PSA is cursed. The music, Lou Albano's lecture, the yellow room, everything. I remember seeing it on the Cursed Commercials wiki, which I've written quite a few articles on, and this is one of the most covered Cursed commercials I've ever seen. Yes, another PSA we've all ripped on. This one is not just terrible, it's also hypocritical, since the music was stolen from a Dutch composer for this PSA. They compared downloading movies to stealing cars, purses, and televisions. Not really much to say about this PSA that hasn't already been said before. It's like the pirates are out to get you PSA in that it's famous because it was on every fucking DVD in the 2000s.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Can I bum a cig?
You're a smoker?
No, I never even bought my own pack.
It's a trap.
I only smoke on Saturdays, so it doesn't even count.
It's a trap.
I'm not a smoker. I'm gonna do yoga tomorrow.
Oh my god, it's a trap!
It tastes like tropical kumquats, so it can't be bad for me.
It's a trap!
Unicorn.
I'll quit when I graduate.
'Tis indeed a trap.
I only smoke when I...
Oh, it's a trap!
I feel like this ad is giving me more cancer than the cigarettes. I mean, seriously, I got a few Mike Wazowskis growing on my back here.
My thoughts exactly, Frank. My thoughts exactly. I remember showing a bit of this on my top 10 scariest American PSAs countdown, and well, my opinion still stands. This is one of the worst truth PSAs I have ever seen, and it's because half these memes were dead by the time this ad aired. It's so obviously pandering to millennials and early Gen Z, and that makes this PSA horribly dated. It's one of the most cringeworthy PSAs I've ever seen, and I don't smoke cigarettes, nor do I want to, but this does make me want to light one up just out of spite. I just hate this PSA. It forever ruined truth. Never, ever pander to teens. We don't fucking like it. Although, to be honest, calling me a teen is a bit of a stretch since I'm almost 20. Well, I just turned 19, but you know what I mean. Using an American tragedy to push a narrative that violent video games cause mass murders. Real fucking tasteful, SWR. If I didn't think this PSA company was shit already, I do after seeing this PSA literally fucking use Columbine footage to say violent video games cause violence. Oh, and there actually exists a video game in which you can play as Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris. It's called Super Columbine RPG. I hate this PSA and its distasteful nature. It's absolutely disgusting that SWR would use an American tragedy to push their bullshit narrative.
Yes, sir. So, would you mind stepping out of the car and doing a breath test?
Look, you had 2 pints, you're over the limit. That's a 12-month ban and a criminal record.
Hey, it's company policy. I've got to let you go.
I know it's only got 20,000 on the clock, but that's my final offer.
Oh, I'm sorry, son. I'd like to help, but don't think we can afford to. You'll have to ask your mother.
Me? How could you be so stupid? Oh, that's just great, Matt. No license, no job. Now what?
So, what's it going to be?
This was in the exact same spot in the old countdown, and I stand by it being utter shit. The acting is horrible, and it is one of the most boring Think PSAs. The breakdown of the bartender is so fucking cringeworthy too. I can see why everybody hates this PSA. Holy shit, this is fucking awful. However, not the worst road safety PSA I have ever seen.
She's got a smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as the bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. And if I stared too long, I'd probably break down and cry. Oh, sweet child of
mine. Since 2000, speeding has killed a classroom of our children. Shame on you. You can never control the consequences if you speed.
I never understood why this PSA was seen as scary to anyone except newbies to the PSA community. Everything about this PSA is so over the top and is incredibly unrealistic. Even the sharpest turn wouldn't flip the car this way this car got flipped. And nobody even tries to run, not the kids or the teachers. It's hilariously bad, and I can understand why many of my fellow PSA reviewers find it funny. The kids get squashed and don't even try to escape their fate. Like, I get what this speeding PSA was trying to do, but it just goes so overboard that the message is lost in its stupidity.
I am autism. I'm visible in your children, but if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late. I know where you live, and guess what? I live there too. I hover around all of you. I know no color barrier, no religion, no morality, no currency. I speak your language fluently, and with every voice I take away, I acquire yet another language. I work very quickly. I work faster than pediatric AIDS, cancer, and diabetes combined. And if you are happily married, I will make sure that your marriage fails. Your money will fall into my hands, and I will bankrupt you for my own self-gain. I don't sleep, so I make sure you don't either. I will make it virtually impossible for your family to easily attend a temple, a birthday party, a public park, without a struggle, without embarrassment, without pain. You have no cure for me. Your scientists don't have the resources, and I relish their desperation. Your neighbors are happier to pretend that I don't exist, of course, until it's their child. I am autism. I have no interest in right or wrong. I derive great pleasure out of your loneliness. I will fight to take away your hope. I will plot to rob you of your children and your dreams. I will make sure that every day you wake up, you will cry, wondering who will take care of my child after I die. And the truth is, I am still winning, and you are scared, and you should be. I am autism. You ignored me. That was a mistake.
And to autism I say,
I am a father,
a mother, a grandparent,
a brother,
a sister.
We will spend every waking hour trying to weaken you.
We don't need sleep because we will not rest until you do.
Family can be much stronger than autism ever anticipated, and we will not be intimidated by you, nor will the love and strength of my community.
I am a parent riding towards you, and you can push me off this horse time and time again, but I will get up, climb back on, and ride on with the message.
Autism, you forget who we are. You forget who you are dealing with. You forget the spirit of mothers and daughters and fathers and sons.
We are
the United Kingdom. United States.
We are Argentina.
We are Russia.
We are the European Union.
We are the United Nations.
We are coming together in all climates.
We call on all faiths. We search with technology
and voodoo,
prayer and
herbs, genetic studies,
and a growing awareness you never anticipated.
We have had challenges, but we are the best when overcoming them.
We speak the only language that matters, love for our children.
Our capacity to love is greater than your capacity to overwhelm.
Autism is naive.
You are alone. We are a community of warriors.
We have a voice.
You think because some of our children cannot speak, we cannot hear them? That is autism's weakness.
You think that because my child lives behind a wall, I am afraid to knock it down with my bare hands?
You have not properly been introduced to this community of parents and grandparents, of siblings and friends and school teachers, therapists, pediatricians and scientists.
Autism, if you are not scared, you should be.
When you came for my child, you forgot.
You came for me.
Autism, are you listening?
This PSA genuinely infuriates me. Moment of doubt and shame on you were bad, but at least they weren't insanely offensive and demonizing towards autistic people. I don't get offended by much, but until another PSA this bad comes around, this PSA will be the one to truly make my blood boil. I've seen Hitler speeches less offensive than this. I'd rather read the entirety of Sonic Shoe than watch this PSA again. I'd rather see disgusting Rule 34 of myself than watch this PSA again. I'd rather drag my nutsack across broken glass than see this PSA again. I'd rather have battery acid poured directly into my eyes than see this PSA again. I'd rather be an Encyclopedia Dramatica mod than watch this godforsaken PSA ever again. This PSA is one of the many reasons, if not the biggest reason, that I hate Autism Speaks. This PSA made us autistic people out to be terminally ill maniacs who will ruin our loved ones' lives, treating our condition like AIDS or cancer, when 8 times out of 10, autism is pretty manageable. It's not a surprise that an organization full of ableist Karens like Autism Speaks made this PSA. Fuck this PSA, fuck the organization that created it, and fuck everyone involved that thought making this PSA was a good idea. Well, gentlemen, ladies, and fellow non-binary daisies, we have reached the end of yet another Antonio the Sheep video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you did all these things, join my Discord link in the video end description. Then y'all have a great day. Antonio out.